Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel, and today's video is going to focus on a 2021 release. We are finally transitioning out of Blue Desert, as you can see some in the background here. The background was good at the start, but it's gotten kind of bland now, especially compared to card backs of years prior, except for 2018 and 2017. Those were not the best. And as such, we are finally getting out of it. And what better way to start the year off than with a re-release that hasn't been seen since 2017, H.J. Hollis, the N2o Cola Racer from Cars 3. And this guy has a lot of differences from the China version, so we'll get into those in a little bit. But before we crack him open from his package, let's take a moment to take a look at the card back. Now, the card art here is really large and prominent, but unlike the Blue Desert card back there, as you can see in the background, it does not cut off the rear portion of the vehicle. This card art is full art, essentially. And it goes over the card back, which is a really nice desert design, which is actually, I believe, the 2018 desert design, but with a blue sky transition at the top. It's really nice and kind of takes me back to the old desert back days with the desert in the back and then fades into a blue skyline. It's a little nostalgic for me and it looks real nice. But with that out of the way, let me crack this guy open and get back to the review in a bit. We are back with H.J. opened up and out of his plastic packaging, and I just have to say, H.J. looks fantastic from Thailand. I don't mean to repeat my words here. I know I said Thailand Slider Petrowski looked really nice, but H.J. is outstanding and might be one of the best Thailand variants out there, in my opinion. You all might have different opinions. But with that being said, let's not delve too much into the comparing of him versus his China counterpart. We'll get to that in a little bit. First of all, let's talk about H.J.'s appearance in Cars 3. Now, H.J. actually is one of the first next-gens to appear in the movie, being part of the first batch alongside Ryan inside Laney, Ed Shrunken, Aaron Clocker, etc., after Jackson Storm wins his first race. Now, despite that, he's not exactly appeared in many shots. However, he was one of the first next-gens released as a single in the Cars 3 mainline, being part of the third wave of next-gens, after the initial wave with Tim and Danny, and then Chase, Bubba, and Ryan, and then his wave with himself, Ed, and Herb. Now, H.J. himself wasn't exactly a diecast that wowed me when I got him. He was alright, but he wasn't as good as the other N2o Cola Racers, in my opinion, but this diecast changes things. So let's get into his design, and then we'll talk about a comparison. So first of all, on the front, you can see his main color is a metallic-ish, sparkly, not really metallic, but sparkly green color, which looks really nice, because it's also kind of like this lime green here, and I dig that. And aside from the main color, he's also got vents and headlights and a grille, typical staples of a next-gen racer, although the grille is sometimes optional. Typical stuff. Moving on to the hood. His hood is purple, dark purple at the bottom, fading into a light purple gradient at the top. I really like that. The N2o Cola logo is set front and center in the hood, with the N2o being in green, while the Cola is in white. And the gradient actually fades up to the roof, which we'll get into a little bit. Now, H.J.'s expression is a determined but also kind of curious look, I'd have to say. Like he's wondering what's going on in front of him while also being, cool-headed and staying in the game. Moving on to the roof. His roof goes from lightest purple at the front to a darker purple gradient in the back, with the number 68 in white in the typical next-gen N2o Cola font. He's also got window bars here, which is prominent. Well, you'll see why. Now, the purple design on his roof actually goes down into the side here and curves downward to match the whole design going on with this purple here to go along parallel with it. And then it just stops right around the window to create a nice little triangle there. And moving on to the rear of the vehicle, like I said, he's got this design of purple here going onto the rear. It continues the same purple, dark purple color into the rear of the vehicle where it becomes a nice royal purple. I really like that. And his spoiler is purple as well, dark purple, with N2o Cola once again on it, in the same colors as the hood. And he's got light purple spoiler fins, which is actually the main color plastic on the spoiler. Now, moving on to the side of the vehicle, he's got plain black rims. We'll get that out of the way right now because it is likely the least exciting aspect of his design. And his design on the side is really nice. So first of all, you have the outer design, which is actually kind of blue in color. It's a very indigo-like color, yeah. And it kind of warps around the main design on the side here to create a nice, just a nice looking design with some gaps on it. I really do like that. It's just not a whole blob of color splashed onto the side. There's a lot of line work going on here, and it looks really nice. At the bottom here, you can see one of the stripes of this part here fades into a lighter purple as it goes on, out of the indigo color, so that's interesting. And then he's got a smaller spike down here. There's also a spike up here that fades into a very light purple, probably the lightest purple on the body. And it also reappears here real quick before merging back into the main part of the purple. Now, getting to that main part of the purple, it starts at the back here in a very nice royal purple color and slowly heads into the lighter purple color that you see at the top of the hood here. And alongside that, it has the N2o Cola logo, this time in a bluish color, which is interesting, with Cola being over here, which is also kind of interesting, not over here, and the number 68, just like on the roof. Of course, he's also got the contingency sponsors that every next gen wears, that being the Piston Cup, Combustor, Carbon Cyber, and Synergy. Not as fun to say as the Cars 1 contingency sponsors, but they're contingency sponsors nonetheless. He's also got the little arrow here for the pitties and the vents on the side here, as is typical. Moving on finally to the rear of the vehicle, he's got the typical tail lights and the number 68 below his left tail light, and N2o Cola once more below his right tail light, which once more is in the color scheme of the hood N2o Cola logo. He's also got rookie stripes because, you know, he's a rookie. He didn't race full-time in 2016 and then went full-time in 2017. So the rookie stripes disappeared at the Florida 500, I'd assume, but, you know, gotta keep consistent with his movie appearance. And on the right side, it's the same as the left. So that does it for his review itself. Now moving on to the comparison with the China version, we'll notice a lot of differences right off the bat. Like, my gosh, this guy is way different. His main body color is actually nearly identical, with the Thailand version only being a touch darker in color. And the vents and the headlights are also almost identical, although the headlights and grille are a little darker on the Thailand version, and also not as wide, which I actually like. It makes them look a little more realistic. How realistic can you get with the next gens, though? But moving on to the hood and everything else, this is where Thailand shines, in my opinion. N2o Hollis, on the original China release, had this kind of dull, light purple color for all of his purple parts, and it never really changed color. It never really faded into a different purple. It just stayed the same color on the whole body. Whereas with Thailand, they actually made him have a gradiating color scheme, and that really, really makes the Thailand version stand out amongst his peers. Because this version just looks plain, in my opinion. the gradient really adds to his paint job. His expression is mostly similar, however, his eye arch isn't as high, which I'd say is a good thing because you don't want him looking too surprised. You just want him to be a little surprised. He is a racer after all. They gotta keep their calm heads. And also on the hood, besides the gradient, the N2o it just looks better on Thailand. I can't tell you why. I think it's because the outline color is darker and it just blends itself better in with the lighter purple on the top of the hood here. But I'm not really sure if that's the case. It's also because the spacing, there it is, the spacing between the gaps in the letters and number there isn't as wide. They slimmed it down a bit, and I really like that. Moving on to the roof, it's the same story with the purple. Also, window bars, no window bars on the Sino version, as is typical with the 2017 Sino Accents. And the spoiler is the dark purple, whereas on the Sino version, it was just the light purple, same as the rest of the body. Moving on to the side, and here's where you can really tell the difference. On the Sino version, the side is just so bland. I don't even know where to begin. It's just a blob of purple, in my opinion. The lines, they're there, but they don't really make it stand out much. Whereas on the Thailand version, it looks really nice. The gradiating color going from the dark purple into the light purple here, and then the indigo going into the lighter purple on the spikes there. It just makes his design so much better looking, in my opinion. Like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to be unbiased, but with this guy, it's hard not to be unbiased. Because I just love the gradient so much. And moving on to the rear of the vehicle finally. The rear is mostly the same, I will admit. The color is similar. The taillights are a bit more centered, as is the 68 and the rookie stripe, although that may just be my copy. And the N2o here is actually in blue and purple instead of green and white, which I feel was a mistake on Mattel's part. It's actually the same on the spoiler. The cola is purple, whereas the white is on the Thailand version. And yeah, same thing as the left side on the right side here. Just wow. This guy really got a glow up from Thailand, in my opinion. And it doesn't even stop there. I forgot to mention the rims are completely different from both the Sino version and previous Thailand releases like Cam Spinner. The wheels aren't as indented, which I think is actually more realistic with the movie. They're not supposed to be as inward as the stock car rims. So, I dig it. Thailand H.A. Hollis is just incredible. Totally pick him up if you see him in a store. Now, before I end off the review, though, I want to bring in the other N2o color racers. Here's Parker Brixton, also from Thailand. And Manny Flywheel, who will be getting a Thailand version of soon enough. I believe. Not quite sure, though. Hopefully we do. But with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!